Hi everyone, in this video I wanted to talk about some advice that I have for beginner artists and some tips that I have, especially if you're just starting out or if you consider yourself a beginner or if you are kind of struggling with something with your art. I would still kind of consider myself a beginner because I'm not really a professional artist. I still feel like I have a lot to learn, but I'm not a total beginner, but I still think I'm in the learning process. So these are just some things that I've learned along the way throughout the years I've been drawing. I've probably been drawing for about 4 years seriously. I think it's since I started my YouTube channel, which was in 2013. So that would be about 4 years that I've been drawing seriously, and especially lately I've been trying to improve more. So these are just some tips that I have for beginner artists. And there's kind of 4 main things I want to talk about in this video, which is skill, style, medium or media, and inspiration and motivation. Those are kind of the things that I want to talk about, and I think these are a lot of very discussed topics about art and things that people tend to have a lot of questions about. So the first one, skill, is like how you improve, how should you go about becoming a better artist. And my first tip for any artist, any beginner, is to just draw. Try not to let it intimidate you. Try not to think about it too much, because I find when I overthink things, then I'm less likely to want to do them, because then I've planned something out in my head of exactly what I want it to turn out to be, and then I'll never meet that. So don't think too hard, just draw. Especially if you're a beginner, just enjoy drawing. And draw many different things. Try to draw something outside of your comfort zone every once in a while. Try to push yourself, but also have something you can fall back on that is comfortable for you to draw in case you just really can't draw something outside of your comfort zone for that day. Draw from life and do studies. Those are really good ways to improve, and repetition and persistence are just the ways to practice, and being persistent with something is the best way to get better at it. People always ask, like, how do you improve your art? What is the best way to improve? What do you recommend? And honestly, practice. Like, just draw. That is the best way to improve. And try to enjoy it. And also try to go outside of your comfort zone, because that is the best way to also improve your art. And it can be kind of hard to do that, but eventually the things that are currently outside of your comfort zone will become a part of your comfort zone. And then your comfort zone just keeps expanding. And that's how you improve as an artist. So for skill, also keep a sketchbook. Try to fill sketchbooks as fast as you can while still putting like time into the stuff in the sketchbook. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, but like still make use out of it, and try to fill sketchbooks. Like, try to keep a messy sketchbook that you don't care what the stuff looks like, and that'll be your sketchbook where you can practice anything you want, and it doesn't matter how it turns out. That's kind of what I've been doing with sketchbooks. It's been helping a lot to just have a place just to kind of throw all your doodles and all of your experimentation. So for skill, just keep practicing and try to draw many different things. Style is something that a lot of people talk about. I definitely understand why it's important to have your own style, because you want to kind of have your own brand as an artist, I guess. You want your art to be your art. You want to have something that makes it recognizable, that people go, oh, that's so-and-so's art. And it can be so hard to find your style, especially when you're a beginner. And when you're trying to learn the fundamentals, because it's easier to break the rules once you know the rules. People say this a lot. You have to know the rules before you can break them, but I still think you can have a style even if you're a beginner. You can practice drawing in a style if you want, but make sure you keep up trying to learn the basics and the fundamentals along with your style, because if you find it really, really boring to practice and do studies, then if that's all that you do, you're going to be so bored. So it's good to have more than one type of style to draw in, like the one you use for like practicing stuff, and then the one you just do for fun, or the one you eventually want to develop into a fuller style when you become a better artist, I guess, if that makes sense. And style is honestly something that comes with time and practice, and it can take a really long time. So don't worry about if you're a beginner artist. You will find it eventually, or it'll find you. So if you just keep up with learning the basics and trying to improve your art and try to work on your style at the same time, eventually things will start to fall into place. That's the best advice I can give you. But if you really want to find your style, try looking at other artist styles and find what aspects you like about them, certain shapes of the eyes, ways of stylizing the figure, how to draw trees, like anything that has to do with style, just like look at how other artists do it, and that can help you decide how you want to do it. So that's the advice I have about style. And for the medium you use, I'm mostly talking about digital versus traditional art. You can use whichever you want. I honestly think both are equally beneficial. It just depends on which you like more. So try to choose one that makes you want to draw more. And I think it's totally fine to start with digital, and traditional is of course perfectly fine as well. It just depends on what kind of artist you see yourself becoming, and eventually, like throughout the years, you'll find yourself picking up different mediums, dropping them, becoming better at one, learning a new one. You will discover what works best for you, but just try to explore different mediums and find the one that works best for you. I personally don't think it matters either way. I don't think it'll hurt your growth as an artist if you do digital art or if you do traditional art. Like, you can still become just as good with both is what I'm trying to say, because I believe both are equal. They are equal forms of art, and I personally love digital art, but I like to keep a traditional sketchbook just because I find it easier to sketch traditionally because you don't have to worry about saving your file and stuff like that. Also, lastly, I want to talk about inspiration and motivation. When I was a beginner artist, I would look at other artists around me and I would see so many like really, really good artists, and sometimes I would be very inspired to go and start drawing because of these artists. They would make me want to draw, but sometimes it would make me think my art is so bad compared to their art. And the thing you need to remember is that they've probably been drawing for like 10 years, maybe more, and you've been drawing for a few months or just a year or just a couple years. So you really shouldn't compare yourself to other artists. Just look at them as a source of inspiration and somewhere you can be one day if you put in the same amount of practice that they did. And for motivation, if you have art block or if you don't know what to draw, like my best advice is just draw. And sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes you have to take a break or just try to think of what you can draw. Maybe instead of using pictures, brainstorm using words what you want to draw. Try to think of an idea that excites you, that makes you want to make it become a reality, I guess. And just try to find something that interests you, that makes you want to draw. And for me, a lot of the time, other artists inspire me to draw. If I see something an artist does, I'm like, oh, like if I see a really nice landscape painting, I think, oh, I really want to get into doing more landscapes. And then that actually makes me go and try to do a landscape painting. And it just kind of works in a cycle like that. When I'm out of inspiration, I'll just like look at other artists and it'll kind of fuel my creativity, I guess. And don't feel discouraged if some days your art just isn't turning out, because that happens to every artist. There's just bad days. Like, there's some days where everything you draw is going to look terrible and there's nothing you can really do about it. You just kind of have to accept, today's not a good art day, but maybe tomorrow will be better, and just try to make the most of it, or maybe even take a break if you need one. And another like quick tip I can give is to do warm-up sketches before you start doing an actual painting or drawing. Just do like a couple sketches, maybe for 10 minutes, half an hour, just to get used to drawing for that day, because I discovered this just a couple months ago, and it really, really, really helps, because the first thing you draw of the day is not going to be that good. Sometimes it is though, sometimes you'll have really good days, but usually the first thing you draw, you're kind of rusty, and you do a couple more and you kind of get into the flow of things, and then everything goes a lot better after that. So definitely do warm-up sketches. It is so helpful, like honestly, I could recommend that like 100%. So I could say my main advice, summarizing this video, like skill, style, medium, and inspiration. Draw every day or as often as you can, fill a sketchbook and learn the fundamentals, and have fun with it too. Style is also kind of the fun part, trying to find yourself as an artist. And don't worry if it doesn't fall together right away. It'll take some time, but the fun part is seeing it develop over time. That is a really fun part about style, and once you start to see it develop, then it's easier to control it, and the more you know the fundamentals, the easier it is to find your style. And also the medium doesn't matter. You can do digital, you can do painting, you can do ink, drawing, markers. It doesn't matter. Just find something that works for you, and just explore every option that you can and try to find the things that you like the best. And as you go throughout your art journey, you will find other mediums that work really well for you. So something that you're really used to using now, you might not like in the future. That actually happened to me with Copic markers. I used to love using them, and now I don't really like them that much. I don't know why. And lastly, inspiration and motivation. Don't worry if you're not inspired, still try to make something out of the day. There will be bad art days, but some days you might not have inspiration, and it's kind of hard to learn how to draw without inspiration or motivation. So ways to inspire yourself is to look at other artists. Try to do things that you like to do, like go out in nature if nature inspires you, clean your desk maybe, reorganize stuff, or just force yourself to draw. And don't compare yourself too much to other artists, because that can really make you feel bad because you haven't been drawing as long as these professional artists that have been drawing for like 10 or more years. So don't feel bad if you aren't as good as these artists, because they are professionals. So I hope you enjoyed this video. These are just the tips I'd give to beginner artists and things that helped me throughout my art journey that I wish I knew at the beginning, because then I would have done a lot of things differently. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any more tips for beginner artists, please leave them in the comments. I'm sure people will find it really helpful. And thanks for watching. So I just wanted to say something about the art because I didn't really talk about it in the video. It's a landscape painting. I just wanted to practice that because it's something I want to get better at. And drawing backgrounds can be really fun if you can actually pull it off. I'm okay with the way it turned out. This is just what it looks like on the screen. I just use my Cintiq for it. And if you want to get a print, the link to my shop will be in the description. You can get prints, stickers, phone cases, stuff like that. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe if you want to see more. I hope you found the advice helpful, and I'll see you in my next video.